Oh boy. The Raptors fall in a big one to the New York Knicks at home, and it's the same old story that's affecting this team. Let's break it down in tonight's post-game show. Remember, guys, if you have been enjoying the content this season, you're enjoying this one tonight, remember to hit that like button to support what we do over here at Amateur Hour. And also, subscribe to the channel. We do something like this for every Raptors game. So if you like the Raptors, you want coverage about this team, this is the place to be. Get yourself subscribed and help us hit that next milestone. But the Raptors are up to their same old tricks today, and probably should have seen this one coming a little bit more pre-game. But the Raptors, like the recipe for success and failure, is pretty consistent here. If we go back to their recent games, now admittedly this game is not quite done. I don't give the Raptors hope at 1:43 to go. I'm kind of done with it on a Friday night, but here are the recent batches of games. The last 7 games for the last 7 games for the Raptors here. We lost to the Magic, Cavs, Nets, and Knicks. Okay? We beat the Suns, the Bulls, the Pacers. Now, it's a small sample, but this has been consistent with a lot of the team this season. 4 losses all occurred against teams who are big and have really good rim protectors. The Magic have been outstanding on defense this season. Goga Bitadze, they're usually not that, but they have been this season. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Nick Claxton, Mitchell Robinson. No space on the inside. The winnable games, Miles Turner and the Pacers defense, Nikola Vucevic, Yusuf Nurkic. So clearly, when the Raptors play big teams who can clog up the paint, they suck. When the Raptors play against big teams with real rim protectors, proper rim protectors, good defenses, they suck. When they play against small teams, they're good. The difference is that those small teams with no rim protectors really cannot clog the paint. They cannot sit back and take away our interior game. Teams like the New York Knicks absolutely can take away that interior game, force us to take shots, and the Raptors can't hit them. The Raptors cannot shoot. The Raptors cannot space the floor. So if a team has any ability on defense to take away our game, they will. The Raptors, with 23 seconds to go here, as my dog comes to join me, the Raptors with 23 seconds to go are 6 of 32 from 3, 18.8%. Here, Juno, you want to join me? Make us a little bit happier in the post game here. 6 of 32 from 3, 18.8%. The Knicks shoot 44.4% from 3. So you want to know where these losses come from? It's all the same thing. This team cannot space the floor. It's hard to be upset with a little puppy in my lap like this. Just turned 9 months, if that's a milestone you care about. But it comes down to spacing. If you cannot space the floor, you cannot succeed in the NBA. You cannot, sorry. She's going for my Harveys. If you cannot space the floor, you cannot succeed in the modern NBA. It's as simple as that. The New York Knicks were a team capable of locking down the paint. That is what they did. Now, you might say, well, what happened in the first half? The Raptors were tied at 57 at half. They won the second quarter 31-23. I mentioned it in the halftime assessment of the game, but the Raptors were getting a lot of success in the first half in mid-range. Like Scotty Barnes was hitting his middies, Siakam was hitting his middies, which kind of like was great, but also kind of worrying because it's like, well, we have to settle for these shots all the time because there's no room on the inside. When these mid-range shots regress back down to earth a little bit, where is our offense going to come from? And that's kind of what happened. She's going for my Harveys. And as the mid-range shots started to regress, the offense regressed with it, and the Knicks went on a run. Now, the Knicks, their floor spacing today came from some maybe not as likely sources. Josh Hart was left open quite a bit today, and he ends up with 17 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Dante DiVincenzo ends up with 21 points. Now, DiVincenzo's a good shooter, but my God, he goes 7 of 10, 7 of 9 from 3. Josh Hart goes 3 of 4 from 3. So Look, the game comes down to shooting, and it's just so often this season that is the case for this Raptors team. You know, it's almost like we're starting to accept what this team is, where this team is going. Every time we see this team against a big team, we're reminded about how they can't shoot, and we're reminded about all the same things going wrong. So it's just time after time after time we see this, that it's really making me wonder, like, what is the front office saying? What are they seeing here? Are they noticing this? Is it just us? Is it just us here watching this that are noticing that this team doesn't have spacing? Or what? Or this team doesn't have a bench? Like 17 points for Hart, 21 for DiVincenzo, 10 for Quickly off the bench. Raptors bench, Boucher plays pretty well again. Our bench, like Boucher plays well, like pretty well again, but you continue to not really get anything else from anybody else. Like Gary Trent is an $18 million player who is so susceptible to it, like a 2 of 6 night, 4 points. Precious Achiuwa, 4 of 11, minus 22. Like Achiuwa doesn't do anything. Achiuwa doesn't do anything out there. Can you hear this? Not really. So it's just so consistent with Achiuwa that he just doesn't really give the Raptors any juice off the bench. He's still getting PT. Like you're just wondering, like, how can we win with this bench? Like, the Knicks bench just killed us in those minutes. I mean, your starters did so as well. Our side of things, Siakam slowed down second half once the mid-range shots dried up, but 21, 8, and 3 was his night. Barnes goes 3 of 19, but kind of similar vein. He dried up a bit in the second half, but hey, 29 points for Barnes, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 freaking steals. What an incredible night from Scotty Barnes in this one. Jakob Poeltl has a solid night. Dennis Schroeder, inefficient, but 9 assists here. His playmaking still been good. Like, as much as their talent on this team, the roster construction still continues to be the biggest issue. The roster construction still continues to be the catalyst in Toronto's failure. And every time we come up against a big team that can defend the paint, we're going to have nights like this. So for the upcoming schedule, Heat, Bam Adebayo, a good, well-drilled defensive team, that's going to be difficult to play against. The Hornets, we should win that. But then we have the Knicks again at MSG. You might see similar thing from them. The Hawks, like, they're a smaller team, but they have some rim protection. We'll see what kind of ends up over there. We're in the start of a more difficult period for the team, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where this one shakes out. But right now, with the roster, the way it's constructed, it's like borderline a disaster. And as long as it is this way, we're going to have so many more games like this and so many more frustrating nights. But that's all there is from this one. If you guys enjoyed this one, smash that like button, subscribe for more Raptors content from Amateur. I got to get this dog out of here.